Think of the last time someone really pushed your buttons, like really got you upset, frustrated, angry, annoyed. For most of us, that was probably at some other point earlier today. Our focus naturally goes to trying to get them to understand why we're pissed off and to stop pushing our friggin' buttons, right? So maybe they do stop, usually only until the next time they push that button, right? Well, what's hard to really grasp at first is that you have the button. You can get them to stop pushing it, or you can deactivate the damn button. My first reaction when I heard that was, fuck that. Should stop being an ass. And yeah, that may be true, but let's dig into this for a minute. So we only recognize a button getting pushed because it activates a challenging emotion, right? So try this on for a minute. Think of something someone could try to pick on you about or push your button that really doesn't bother you in the slightest. So for me, an easy one is being an introvert. I'm an introvert. Let's say somebody says, you're an introvert. Introverts are boring. They always want to stay home. They're homebodies. They want to read all the time and do boring stuff. They're shy, whatever. That would not be a button for me. I don't care. I like being an introvert. I like reading and like staying home. No big deal. See, that's not a button for me. It's not active. It's only when they touch something that's truly painful that it hurts. That's why I started referring to these buttons really more like emotional bruises versus buttons. But that seems like kind of a duh thing to say, right? Here's the thing. Even if you get a certain person to stop poking at one of your emotional bruises, that bruise is not healed. It's still there for someone else to poke at, sometimes even ourselves. The power is in healing the bruise button so that when they push it, it's deactivated. Nothing happens. Permanent healing is a big enough deal, right? But the super empowering part, you do not need anyone else to do anything. You have complete control to recognize the emotional bruise and work on healing it. You don't need anyone else. Here is a tough truth. Other people are not responsible for your emotions. That is really sometimes feels wrong, but it is true. A person might genuinely be an asshole. That can be true and still not be the point. Our emotions are actually clues. Just like a real bruise or a blister or a broken bone demands our attention, so does our emotional pain. A deactivated button or bruise can't be pushed, even on purpose. It has no impact. So every time a button still works and your efforts go into getting the other person to stop pushing it, then you're handing over your power and literally asking them for a band-aid. So you know what else? This works both ways. What do I mean? Have you ever been in a relationship where you feel like you're walking on eggshells? What that means is the other person has too many unhealed bruises, emotional bruises, and you're effectively trying to remember all of them, and so you don't accidentally poke one. You end up walking on eggshells. But remember that tough truth that I mentioned? Other people are not responsible for your emotions. So when I say this works both ways, it means you are not responsible for their emotions either. Also, do you remember the asshole thing I said? They might genuinely be an asshole, and that can be true and still not be the point. Point being, you still have your own wounds to heal. Well, the reverse is also true. You might be genuinely trying not to be an asshole, but you accidentally poke someone else's bruise. Well, guess what? You still aren't responsible. You are not responsible for the other person's emotions. Only they can do the work. So let's pull this together real quick. Bottom line, when you get upset, it's your own emotional wounds that are asking for healing. No matter how the other person said it, when you upset someone else, purposefully or not, it's their own emotional wounds that are asking for healing. What are these emotional bruises actually made of? Some we know, especially if it's a previous trauma that gets triggered. But more often we don't. We just know it hurts or we're pissed or whatever the feeling is. That's usually where the healing work stalls. You can kind of feel the wound, but you can't really find the edges to know how to navigate it and fix it. Here's what I learned over the past 2 years that has blown my mind. Every one of these emotional bruises that each of us have are in our human design chart. Like it really is. There are personality aspects and other great info in there, right? But the real gold is there is a map of where you're conditioned, where you're vulnerable, and where the work lives. This is why I had to bring human design into my therapy practice. People were coming to me for my specialties, which are anxiety, ADHD, and trauma, not human design. I was worried they were just going to look at me and say, what the fuck are you talking about? I came for therapy, not an astrology reading or something like that. No, I love astrology, but that's not why they were there. But it really has been a roadmap to the stuff underneath if we're willing to look at it and use it. And I mean, it dramatically reduced the number of therapy sessions that I had with clients. It did. It was amazing. And it still is amazing. So now what? Well, finding your bruises, known or unknown, is one of the biggest things we do in the membership that I just launched. That dramatic reduction in therapy sessions I mentioned, it made me want to share this with everyone, with as many people as possible. And from a business perspective, it also made me want to share with everyone because I was going from however many number of sessions to literally less than half of the original number in most cases. That's what we call a win-win in my. I've always been a person who's about action, not talk. That's what my community called Radiant Growth Collective. That is why I created this membership, to take action and help the most number of people that I can do it. The other thing is, it's just amazing to be in a community of loving, supportive people. So the last month I've spent getting this membership built technically and then testing it. And this is my founding member launch video. To celebrate my launch, the first 25 new members will get a free 30-minute personalized human design reading from me. It will be recorded so you can download it and keep it. And I commit to getting it to you within a maximum of 30 days from when you join. This founding member launch offer expires on this March 31st or whenever there's 25 total members, whichever comes first. I am so excited for you. I'm telling you, finding and healing these emotional bruises feels so powerful and amazing, and it feels even better with a group of people who are all here to do the same thing. The link to join is below. I will see you on the inside.